Back to the earliest memories I have as a child, I was a shy kid. I remember holding on to my mom's leg all the time and never wanting to talk to anyone. All throughout grade school, I was known as the quiet girl. As I hit high school, I started to come out of my shell a little bit. I began talking more and going out more, and in a sense, creating my own identity. I wouldn't consider myself a shy person today. I found my niche and my purpose in this world, and I ran with it. All of that being said, going into this class, I was terrified. I had heard from other students that speech class was a breeze. This class was everything but a breeze. It was difficult at times, it was stressful, it was nerve-wracking, but above and beyond all of that, it was self-assuring, it was fun and creative, and it was a huge learning lesson. George Jessel, an American actor, said, "The human brain starts working the moment you are born and never stops until you stand up to speak in public." I learned so much in this class. The do's and don'ts of public speaking, what is appropriate as a speaker and as an audience member, how to recover from mistakes, and so much more that will be essential to a job in nursing. Session 1 to me was the most important session in this whole class because of the threaded discussion. It's interesting to look back at the things I had opinions about 5 weeks ago, before I learned everything I did in this class. I still agree that censorship is by all means necessary, but I now also believe that there are times when the truth just needs to be told. Sometimes the point or subject of a speech won't come across for the way you intend it to without actually offending a few people. When we contemplate the topics of our speeches, we can only do our best to be audience-centered. I will never please everyone. There is a way to take a stand and voice an opinion and still remain graceful and classy. Our first speech in this class was the impromptu speech. This one threw me out of my comfort zone 100%. I had no paper to hold on to and absolutely no time to prepare. The audience-centered speech and the speech being mixed kind of threw me for a loop. It's hard to know if you'll end up being audience-centered if you're not the one creating the questions. I caught myself using a lot of fillers, probably because there was no preparation and it was my first speech in this class. The second speech we did was the informative speech. I figured that choosing a topic you know a lot about or something you're passionate about would be the best idea. I chose to do a speech on multiple sclerosis. This disease has been a part of my life for 15 years. My mom has had MS probably since I was born, but was actually diagnosed with it when I was 12 years old. In this speech, we got to use a visual aid. The visual aid gave me a sense of comfort. I knew that all eyes wouldn't be just on me the whole time. I knew that people would also be looking at my PowerPoint. In this speech, I had a hard time trusting myself to get the facts and statistics right. On any given day, I could ramble on about MS, how it affects your life, how to cope and deal with it, and what exactly it does to your body. But the second the video camera turned on, I couldn't pull my eyes away from the paper. The third speech we did was the demonstration speech. This put me in my comfort zone a little bit more because I knew my hands would be busy during the speech. What I still continued to struggle with was the eye contact. I kept my eyes on the project and rarely made eye contact. In talking about the demonstration speech, we also talked about ways to recover from a mistake as gracefully as possible. We know we move on and continue going. We have to learn to laugh at ourselves and not take things too seriously. I'm sure many people have gone through much more horrific mess-ups in speeches than just mispronouncing a word or getting a statistic wrong. One thing I'm still really curious about that a classmate brought up was, what if you get the hiccups in the middle of a speech? Or what if you get a sneezing attack? There's no way an audience could focus on what your speech is about when they're so distracted by something else going on. I would love to see a speech where this happens and how the speaker handles and controls it. The fourth speech we did was the persuasive speech. I got pretty excited when I heard that we were going to do a persuasive speech. As I said earlier, I grew up as a pretty shy child, and most people don't believe that today, but I went through a punk stage in my life where I felt the need to voice my opinion on everything. Some, if not most of these opinions are still something I really hold true to. There are a lot of things in this world that I have a strong opinion about, and the death penalty is definitely one of them. In my opinion, I think I did a lot better on this speech. I only heard a few fillers, and I feel like my eye contact was stronger. Not perfect, but stronger. Through my opinions, I also want God to speak. Most of my opinions about life and people are based on my beliefs in God. I'm constantly asking myself in situations, what would God want out of me right now at this very moment? I accept the fact that I am human and I am flawed, but I try to live my life in a way I hope God will appreciate. I so often think that sometimes all people need is encouragement when hearing you speak. Sometimes maybe to keep them going, but if you're the person to give them that encouragement, how can that be a bad thing? Philippians 1:27 says, "Whatever happens, conduct yourselves in a manner worthy of the gospel of Christ. Then whether I come and see you or only hear about you in my absence, I will know that you stand firm in one spirit, contending as one man for the faith of the gospel." This verse means so much to me. We all spend at least part of our lives hiding from something, and unfortunately, I think many people hide from God's truth. This is the one thing I absolutely refuse to hide from. I'm not ashamed I believe in God, and I'm not ashamed that I talk to Him more than anybody else I know. When giving speeches, so many people are afraid to incorporate God into it. They're afraid of what their audience might think. But again, as Christians, we can't fear what other people think. We should only fear what will happen if we don't proclaim our love for the person who gave us life. We become so concerned with the world's view of us that it shames us away from expressing who we really are. We are being judged in one way or another when we step in front of a group of people. I've been judged for my tattoos and my piercings, and I've had stereotypes thrown at me before the person even attempted to know who I was. No matter where we are or who we're with, it is our responsibility as Christians to conduct ourselves in a manner pleasing to God. After school, I plan to get a job as a nurse in a hospital where I work as a rehab tech right now. I plan to rehab people either back to the way they were before their injury or to rehab them to show them how to live life after their injury. Every opportunity I get, I will put myself out there as a disciple of Jesus. I will show people who I am not only through my actions, but also through my words. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "Speech is powerful, speech is to persuade, to convert, and to compel." When speaking to an audience or even just an individual, we must understand how strong words can be. A lot of times we take things we say or other people say for granted, but behind each word is a powerful meaning. When we talk down to someone, we show our unrighteous human spirit, and when we uplift with words of kindness and encouragement, we show our righteous godly spirit. Jesus told us in John 14:6, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me." He was honest with his words. His speeches had meaning and purpose. The things we say and do are reflections of who we are. The lives we live, how we treat others, the jobs we have, the way we raise children, the way we treat our bodies, they're all reflections of who we are. The way we speak to people should be no different. Thank you.